All right, everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to another Rook Town Hall. Um, Shorter agenda today that we'll start with some housekeeping. We can get through some of the proposals that are outstanding on the forum, and then we can open up to some general topics here. But why don't we go on ahead and start with just some quick governance housekeeping here. So I can go on ahead and quickly announce that KIP 24, which was using ETH for yield generation, passed unanimously with about 22,000 Rook voting no objection. So excited to see that proposal that Matt, Starfire, Wes, Breeze, Stubbs, and everybody that comes to Treasury Tuesday put a ton of time and effort into. And I'm really excited to see that kind of move forward. You know, something that I know that has been communicated is that we will be moving in a methodical fashion in terms of deploying the ETH. It's not something that we're looking to, now that it's passed, throw all 75% of our ETH into these, liquid staking assets immediately. This is something that we're going to do appropriately with risk management in mind. So just wanted to make sure that that was said, that people, maybe some folks thought, okay, well, now they're going to, deploy everything as soon as possible. That's not what's going to happen with this, with this proposal. This proposal is going to be obviously done with the best intentions for the long-term risk management and DAO health in mind. But that being said, excited to see that one pass. The other side of governance stuff is what is happening in the draft one. And so, Jason, I'd love for you to come up and talk a little bit about KIP formatting and the templates that have been created, and would love to start getting some more eyes on those. So Jason, why don't you introduce those to us?
Sure, happy to. So we have people have been coming to the governance workshop. No, we've been started the process of working on a version 2 of governance, and so we're looking very broadly at all the decision-making processes, and we're looking at all the components within those. And so one of the things we could move forward with more quickly in that was thinking about the front end of the process. So thinking about how can we format KIPs in a way that makes it easy for the community to review them, makes it easier for the SOFONs, and makes it easier for authors. And so one of the things we did a couple of weeks ago in the governance workshop is try and work through what some meaningful categories would be. And since then, we've worked out some templates for each of those categories, and those have already evolved a bit with feedback from Dietz and from Treasury and from a couple of other parties. But it would be great to have some more feedback on that, so we can be sure that they'll be as useful as possible. And the nice thing is we're having those ready means we were already able to start using them informally. So we've been working with Treasury on a few proposals that have been that have gone to these formats, and I know Treasury will have a couple more proposals that'll be coming live next week. So that's all I have to say about that. Please take a look. It would be really, really helpful. I know it's not the most exciting part of governance, but it's going to be really important to nail this part down so that when we start getting to some of the other more complicated stuff, we've laid the groundwork. And that's all I got on that.
Awesome, Jason. Yeah, so I would encourage everybody, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and link to this in voice right now. Actually, this will just be our open drafts page on the forum. So for folks that have not seen those, there's a number of really great ones. So we have drafts on integrations and on research and development grants and delegation of powers and treasury investments. All of these, I know that Jason communicated with, relevant contributors to look at these templates and to look at, historically what has been done for different types of KIPs as well, and put a lot of effort into this. So if you were able to review and look through these drafts, any comments that you've got, you can leave in the forum. You can drop in the governance channel as well. Um, and so, yeah, Jason, great work on that. I appreciate what you're doing there.
Oh, thanks, Ian. It's a joint effort with Wes, too, to be clear.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Very
Mhm.
nice. All right. So, in terms of other kind of outstanding items around governance, there was something, Jason, while you're up here, please stay up for a sec. What was around cleaning up our forum a little bit. So if you actually look at our open drafts category on the forum right now, there are um, lots of things that have not had activity since the calendar flipped or in months. So Jason, why don't you talk us through kind of what folks are seeing currently on the forum and maybe some ideas that you've got in terms of improving it.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, right now everything, well, I'd say everything's kind of on the forum. So, one of the things we've been thinking about is expanding the number of categories for what a KIP is. So, just within the KIP part of the forum, so that let's say after some period of time, like 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, when there's been no activity, something can be archived or retired, or we'll find a word for it. Um, but that will just indicate that something doesn't have any activity around it. I would say that the other side of that is that we do need to be more, in order to make that work, we're going to have to be more proactive about reporting back um, comments or addenda, or I'm not sure, quite the approach yet, but some way of showing that, if we've talked about a proposal in a town hall or in the governance workshop, that should count as some activity, right? So we need to get better about putting those notes in. But the idea is that after, let's say, 4 weeks or so, something moves. And then we also were thinking about adding, revising some of the statuses instead of, I think right now there's under review. We were going to make that so fun review, and then we're going to add a category for voting. So again, this kind of infrastructural stuff that's probably only exciting to governance nerds, but we just wanted to make sure to make these things as useful and consistent as possible.
Awesome, Jason. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Let's see here. I just want to make sure that I'm not missing anything else from any necessary agenda items here. I will talk a little bit about some other housekeeping. So, in terms of what we can look forward to, we have the Q2 report that'll be coming out soon. We also will be rolling out some improved communication around our weekly events and the updates that happen in the Discord. And that is going to be a comprehensive strategy that involves much better sharing of information and making things much more accessible for folks that maybe can't make time or have a lot of other things on their plate. We really do need to improve information sharing, and so this is something that I'll be working with with Wes and Breeze, with Jason, with Matt, and the rest of the crew uh, on for everyone that hosts a different call during the week or for getting more information that maybe is behind um, or at least what Labs is working on as well, and sharing that better with folks. And for me, a really solid piece of information. And actually, Danica, I see you in the audience here. A fantastic piece of inspiration was seeing how awesome Tokamak had handled things after our AMA yesterday, which if you hadn't listened to that AMA, I would encourage you to. The folks that came over, Carson, CJ, Craig, and Bruno came and shared a lot of fantastic ideas with us. And it was a really good conversation, but their level of follow through and ability to keep people updated was a model I want to strive for. So the big shout out to Danica there, and the work that's happening around there. But we are going to improve. We're going to get better at sharing information with folks, and I think that there are awesome examples from all around, uh, different protocols and stuff, and our partners, and I'd like to just continue to improve and get better. Awesome. So I think with that, I'd love to at least kind of bring attention to the most recent announcement that folks might have seen in our announcements channel, which was the deploying of compensation 2.5. And I'd love to have Hazard hop on up and share any thoughts around that, and then we can kind of take some questions or anything from folks as well. So Hazard, if you're available, would love to have you maybe share an abridged version of some thoughts for
Hey,
folks that maybe didn't read. Hey, how you doing?
I'm all right. I just was on another call and it was going poorly because my audio was garbage because my internet was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like that's not true anymore. That it's
Yeah, you
okay.
sound loud and clear.
Beautiful. If that changes, let me know. Um, yeah. So I posted the announcement earlier today that we were going to do the switch over to compensation 2.5 today. It's already been done as of now. Um, uh, I laid out reiterated, the reasons it was important for us to do this. Um, uh, it's really about ensuring that all of these contributors that we are so fortunate to have are able to continue to work on the uh, tasks and really important things that we've asked them to work on. Um, there was sort of a lot of debate about this, which is great. A lot of different points of view, all the way from why do we not vote on compensation to how much the compensation is, to the content of compensation 3.0, which 2.5 is bridging us towards, to how much leadership is paid, um, runway, burn rate, bear market, lots of different perspectives. These are all really important things that we're going to follow up on one by one. But now, in this moment, the most important thing is to support the contributors who are building the future, building the tech, and the organization that builds the tech. That's what's most important to me. That's sort of my part of my role. So obviously, as in the announcement, just to allay concerns that that this was somehow extractive, fair, self-dealing. Put compensation.
Hey, Hazard, you might be a little bit farther from your mic or something right now. You've gone pretty faint.
Is this better?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Wonderful. Yeah. So to allay these concerns, there were some of them. It was mentioned that, myself and Joey, so the CEO and the CTO, are not going to be transitioning to compensation 2.5 at this point. And I don't know, we may figure something out in the future, but for now, the most important thing is to restore confidence that some people may have lost and to do our jobs, which is to ensure that everything that happens on the team is represented out to the DAO and that we're all in consensus about what we want to do. So that's the basic breakdown. So contributors have been transitioned over to compensation 2.5, which has been discussed, except for leadership. And we have, next week is the end of the quarter. We have planned, as we did last quarter, a series of events to discuss a lot about what's happened this quarter. But unlike the end of last quarter, we have a lot more to say now, and we have a lot more people to tell these stories. And both because of that and because of some of the concerns that have been raised, I think it's right that we should put on a little bit more of a show, have a little bit more of have a little bit more of a try at making sure that everybody understands what's happened and what is happening and where we're going and what we're doing and who's doing it and why that drives value. So we're going to be doing that next week. I think it's going to be a ton of fun, and a lot of people are going to see a lot of things for the first time and realize a lot of things for the first time. Maybe remember things that have been said in the past but that haven't been brought up for a while. And maybe that will help clear the air and have some things click for people in a way that maybe it hasn't in a little bit of time. So that's the plan. I think it'll be good. And many of the deeper questions that we have are things that we're all well equipped to talk through and work through and improve continuously, like we improve all of the other things that we work on. So looking forward to that. Yeah, that's the basic summary, most announcement there. But if there's questions that people have, I would love to do some Q&A because this stuff is hard and it's new, and it's one of those things where the best way to explore and reach consensus is to talk about it. So if anybody has questions, we should talk.
Yeah, so feel free to either hop up on stage or put a question in the voice chat if you've got anything to share, any questions, comments, concerns. All right. One thing that I wanted to kind of highlight um, from your announcement, Hazard, as well as kind of what you touched on a little bit more, was kind of these next steps of increased transparency and getting folks a little bit more of a look under the hood. So kind of from each the individual ones, I just kind of want to pull out. First, talking about the Q2 report and gathering the DAO together to run through everything. We will run through, each section, and it's going to be, well, it's not going to be, I've already seen it. It's a very comprehensive report that represents, all the verticals that we're working on. So we'll have, contributors on hand. We'll be looking to run through kind of what's happened over the last 3 months, with data to back up, what's in there as well. And then, as we run through those, getting feedback from the DAO, having folks share ideas about improvements, or, for me, there's a lot of shout outs that I want to give to some of our contributors that have just been absolutely excelling throughout this last quarter as well. So across that, really looking forward to that Q2 report. The next thing was talking about some of the tech that we're developing, some things that we haven't even really talked about too publicly yet, and demonstrating through some of that. So I'm really excited to see that event happen as well. Looking at our governance and having a focused kind of governance reform event that goes a little bit beyond what Jason typically talks about on Wednesdays. You know, for folks that haven't had time to attend the governance workshops, there's you know, some really great stuff being talked about, discussed, and worked on, and being championed by Jason on Wednesdays. You know, he does work more than just Wednesdays, obviously, but there's you know, the progress in reform and evolution that's happening with that, as well as the communication that will go alongside it. You know, is something that we'll be excited to show people as well. And then, you know, really, what I think is the most exciting thing is looking at you know, the narrative that we're building around around what we're building here at the DAO. So, you know, for folks that maybe have heard Troy talk a little bit about how he's been selling us, you know, it's been very interesting. But you know, Hazard, you want to quickly introduce kind of, oh, not. It looks like we lost him. So what we're looking at, oh, here comes Hazard back here. Maybe your internet is shit.
It is shit today.
You
No,
want to just give us 30 seconds to quickly talk about, you know, the presentation that we're putting together?
forget that. No, the presentation's awesome. People are going to be excited about it, but no spoilers.
No spoilers. Okay, good, because I was about to spoil.
It's not like a blockbuster movie, but I think it'll help people understand the big picture. And this quarterly report is friggin' amazing. I mean, on the team, people who wake up every day and do this every day, you know, it's a chance for us to see what everybody's been doing and summarize it and put it all together. And we can't even remember all the things that have happened. One challenge has been like remembering, going through all the stuff that's been done in the quarter. There's just so much of it. And it's the scope and the scale of it is so different from what it was at the beginning of the year or even at the end of the last quarter. It's just incredible. And the big difference that's so cool is that at the end of the first quarter, we had a lot of stuff we could talk about how many new people we'd brought on, how it was good for such and such, how the treasury was operating, and so on. This quarter, we've got 2 months of hard data from products that are in production that everybody knows about now that you can go and you can use. And we have case studies, right? We have, you know, marketing studies. We have, you know, a ton more that we can say about the tech, so much more elaboration and different kind of product lines that we can talk about. And our integration pipeline is so much, it's just, you know, huge now. You know, last quarter, at the end of the last quarter, it had gone from 0 to, you know, we had a bunch of integrations, it seemed like, but now that looks like, you know, we were just sipping from a straw, and now it's like a fire hose. There's so many inbounds that we have to triage them and queue them up and figure out what to do with them. And we have a great team helping us do that now. And, you know, we've got legal support, we've got governance and organizational support, we have, you know, internal like people ops and stuff now to help make sure that we're communicating and stuff. There's so many things happening now that weren't happening even at the end of the last quarter, even in just the last couple of months. It's just incredible. And so this quarterly report is a quarterly report that sounds as boring can be, but it's like I don't know, it's like a magazine of just slam dunks. It's awesome. It is so awesome. And so I'm so excited to talk about it and to bring out some of the folks who are actually doing this stuff and working on it and inventing this stuff, to talk about it and to share, not just to read off the, you know, the report and to walk people through the report, but to sit down and have kind of, you know, sessions dedicated to like strategy, like, you know, where are we going with this? Like, what is the plan? Like, you know, when do you are we going to expand into this or into that or into these markets or try to reach these customers, and what do we think about the merge? What do we think about L2s, and what is the strategy? And it'll just give people a sense of this arc that we're traveling along. And we actually even have, cash flow models now, because we have data now. We have cash flow models, and you can see where we are along this pathway, and what we need to do to get from point A to B. And it'll just make everything so much clearer. And I think it'll make a lot of people really excited. And the problem is that this kind of report, we're so stuck in this really tight cycle of working and just going just all out on all cylinders, that we don't even ourselves stop to take stock and do that summarization of this and put it all together, even for ourselves. We don't come up for air and do that. And so because we don't even do it, it's hard to do it for the DAO, and it hasn't happened. It's clear it hasn't happened. And so that's why these quarterly reports give us a chance to pause and do that. And it's helpful for us, but it's really helpful for the folks in the DAO who aren't even, they're not really there for that day-to-day work, right? So they don't even get to see that at that level. And so I think it's going to be a big change, and something we're setting up processes to make sure that this kind of event isn't necessary. That we'll still do quarterly reports, of course, but that we can have some kind of continuous trickle, some kind of a visibility, some kind of a uh, uh, mechanism to make sure that there's more and more information getting shared back and forth, and that everybody can see what's happening. And we've already talked about a lot of different ideas for that. And we've talked about it in the past, but in the past we haven't had folks who could actually carry it out, and now we do. That's a big difference. It's a huge change. And so I'm really excited. I think they're going to carry this forward. We're really going to turn a corner on this, which is really exciting. So yeah, so look forward to that. It'll be um, pretty exciting, pretty hype, I think. And we shouldn't need to wait 2 months or whatever to do it again. It should be something that we can have happening in a more continuous way. I think that'd be great. I think it'd be good for everybody, really. We just have to figure out a way to do it so that it's not, holding us back or a drain on our productivity or something like that, or the productivity of the engineers and the operations folks. We want to make it kind of seamless. That would be really cool. So I think we've got a lot of cool ideas to do that might help.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah, it's been I see every day. I try to pop in different chats and stuff around labs and things, and there's absolutely no way that I could stay on top of all of the the work that our protocol and product team is doing. But seeing it written down, still doesn't even, in my opinion, do it due justice about how hard and how much work those guys are doing. So I'm just really pumped to get to see some of that showcased. All right. Well, that concludes my agenda. So I'm happy to open this up for any folks that have kind of open topics that they want to discuss. Circle back to the compensation 2.5, or anything else that wants to be discussed. Here's your chance to to share your thoughts. So I'll pause for a sec and see if anyone's got anything they want to share. Like we have Aya typing real quick. Give you a minute. Something I do. Here's Aya right here. The move to greater transparency, sharing what contributors are up to more regular is great. I agree. It's something that I think that there was, if you think about where we were in October, November, December, um, I think that we're in a vastly different spot now than where we were before. And so with that evolution comes change that needs to be made in favor of keeping people in tuned with what's happening. So I'm really excited to see some new initiatives go through for us to continue to showcase the awesome work that each one of our kind of verticals is doing and keeping us trucking ahead. But if there's no other comments here, I'll just kind of close out by saying, as I said earlier this week, I've never been more excited for what we're building and where we're headed than I am. Every day I get more pumped with every conversation I have with prospective partners, with brainstorms that I've got with, some of our contributors, meeting last night with a few of our engineers and the marketing folks and talk about what's worked on. I'm really excited to see that continue to grow and bloom. And so, I hope that, folks are able to kind of attend some of these upcoming things that we have coming along that coincide with the end of the quarter. And yeah, I'm just excited. There's really not much else to say around that. But with that, if nobody else has anything else to share or say, we can go on ahead and close out today a little bit early. Give you guys some time back, go touch some grass. I did just get some rain over by me, so I might wait a few minutes, but yeah, we'll go on ahead and close out today then. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining. If you have follow-up or anything like that, post in the Discord here. My DMs are open, or share your thoughts on the forum for the open template KIPs. But outside of that, appreciate folks showing up, and yeah, we'll see you all next week. Thanks, everybody.